Aloha, super fam. Bliss here, doing a little love stream check-in on these magnificent transformational energies. To all the mums out there, happy Mother's Day. So, we are guided to offer an online retreat this week. This online retreat is for everyone. It's for newbies, it's for beginners, it's for experts in the spiritual ascension process. This retreat is for everyone. And in 2018, we did a 5-day online retreat, and we called it, I can't remember the name of the retreat, it was profound. And it was 55 people, $55 for 5 days. So the other miracle day, we rose up and we heard those words again. And we have been tracking the field for pieces of really powerful, profound articulation for those who are seeking to understand their internal transfiguration and maybe find some assist. And when we say assist, we mean like a cosmic assist, to really come into understanding what is happening and come into an energetic container that supports our ascension together. So the thing about containers is that inside of a container of a collaborative group of people, there is something called pod consciousness. Pod consciousness is an energetic that assists to make things easier for the collective. And so that's how, if you see ants when they're crossing a river, ants will actually connect all their arms and their legs and they make a little raft and they cross the river together. One ant, if it was trying to cross the rapids of a river, would be swept away. So the ants all join together. And that's what the transmission is that we bliss shares with the pod and those who come into the transmission. The transmission is like a raft that creates a container that assists us to uplift ourselves from the chaos. It's an energetic container. And so this week's retreat is called From Hive Mind to Sovereign, and it's super, super potent and powerful. The transmissions that are coming in every miracle coordinate now are so profound to assist those who are truly seeking, who are truly ready to take these quantum leaps. And so that is the purpose of this week's online miraculous retreat. And like we say, it's for everyone. It's for newbies, it's for beginners. If you're someone that has been in this transmission for many miracles in time, and you want to introduce the transmission to your friends or your family, and you're not certain that they understand the power and purpose of this transmission, this retreat is going to be a very simplistic retreat. It is going to speak energetically to everyone. And what we're going to do is share and assist tools that each one of us can use to bring coherence into our systems. Coherence is key. Coherence is our superpower to dismantling our energy from the hive mind collective. So we'll talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about how our egoic blueprints keep us connected to the collective. So one of the things in the description about this week's online retreat, 5 days, 55 people, $55, is that From Hive Mind to Sovereign is to help us understand that when we are identifying with our personality or our egoic blueprint, when we live from that place, the metaphor would be like the muscle guys you see on the beach on the weekend with their cars, and they lean against their cars and they pump up their muscles. They're in an over-identification with the vehicle. So that is the same with humanity. Humanity as a spirit, as a non-physical being, most humans have become over-identified with the vehicle called the body, the personality, the life, and the creation. So this transmission is very cosmic. It allows us to liberate ourselves from the bondage. It's not saying the personality is wrong. It's definitely not saying the body is wrong. This is all about physicalizing our divinity, physicalizing our consciousness. So the what the transmission does is it helps us to step back, step away from over-identification with the blueprint. And when we do, we can do something that all of the great traditions speak about, which is to be non-attached. Non-attached is not about suppression. Non-attached is actually about a state of coherence within that allows the non-physical aspect of who we are to be fully present in the physicality, in the physical form, in the world, not of it. If this love stream is inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. So We Bliss is super excited about this online retreat this week because, as we say, it's for newbies, it's for beginners, it's for all of we. It's exciting and fun to play in these energies, because what the transmission and the retreat will be is the opportunity for people to have energetic epiphanies by applying physical tools to bring brain balance back into the body. An epiphany is a moment like the moment we learn to ride the bike. Once someone has an epiphany, there's no going back. The epiphany is an energetic that shifts the consciousness forever. So this will be a miracle week of epiphanies for all who join with we. 55 people we are calling forward to join with we on this miraculous retreat. And we will put the notes, we didn't put them in the description box, we'll put them in the comments down below. And if you're interested to sign up for this retreat, it starts tomorrow. And it starts tomorrow at 2:22 p.m. Pacific, and there are recordings available. So as I say, we did this 5 days, 55 people, $55 in 2018, and it was like such a profound retreat. Double the people showed up. But we're calling forth the 55 who know that they are to show up, because they know that they are key players in their energy field, meaning in their community, in their physicality. Their purpose, whoever you are, your purpose may not have turned on yet, but you know you have a greater purpose in your community. And so as we're going through these great shifts, there's a lot of people who know they have a greater purpose, and it hasn't come into their awareness yet, because it doesn't come from the mind, it comes from the energy body. So this is calling forth that field of we all over the planet who are super primed and ready for takeoff. Because what we're doing right now in this month of May, and even though time isn't real and doesn't exist, the month of May is the month of Wesak, which is the month of manifestation. So March is the month of the crucifixion, so to speak, not that one that we all learned from religion, but it's the month of the dismantling. It's about the going into the depths to look very deep. April is the month of resurrection. May is the month of manifestation from those 3 months of transfiguration. So I'm feeling so much energy and so much joy for this online retreat. I really invite all of we to share this out, as I say, with like your friends and family who have maybe never been in this transmission and are ready, are looking for something, or just, this is what this call out signal is for. It's going to be simple. 1 hour and 11 minutes every day. We're going to go through the tools. We're going to invite some sharing, do a little bit of collaborative coaching to assist with a few details of a few people's journeys, because what's in one journey is in all journeys. And then at the end of the daily retreat, we'll do an 11-minute Shakti pot. Shakti pot is like a connection with the divine. And that is available inside of all of us, and it comes from our capacity to hold coherence. So we will do at the end an 11-minute Shakti pot to bring that divine cosmic healing energy in, that coherent energy in. And we can bring it into our physical bodies, we can bring it into our lives, our worlds, our communities, our families, and we can send it out to all life and everyone, to all things. And so we'll do that every day. So when we are participating in these cosmic energies in this way, watch the miraculous flow in every way, and the absolute transfiguration of all the characters in our play into love. That is the precipice we are on. So this retreat this week is going to be living in the miraculous. Okay, so to have a little understanding of the description of the retreat from hive mind to sovereign, basically we go back to the Hopi prophecy, which told us that the time of great shift was coming. And in one of the descriptions that we go back to often, it was a description written by a man named John Kimmy, who was the carrier of the Hopi cloth. So he was very closely associated with the Hopi indigenous. Many indigenous on the planet, many astrologers, many people knew the time of great change, the time of purification was coming. And in the fictional fiction, that information was completely suppressed to the collective, so that the collective did not prepare properly. So what the tipping point that was written by John Kimmy said was that his grandfather, Hopi elder grandfather David, told him that the time of the great purification was coming. And as he described, he said, a time will come when the red hats will come out from the east, small in number, and they will bring the teachings of how to collapse. We're paraphrasing here. They will bring the teachings of how to collapse the polarities inside of our consciousness, inside of our awareness. Polarity means good, bad, right, wrong, masculine, feminine, us versus them, you versus me. The red hats would come small in number from the east to bring the teachings of how to neutralize the mind from polarity. And the Hopi prophecy was really a set of instructions to prepare us for the shift. So it's just like when let's say we get a new gadget under the Christmas tree. What is the first thing we do? We pull out the set of instructions. So instructions are very useful. The Hopi said, prepare for the time of the great shift by receiving the teachings from the red hats that would come small in number. That was the Buddhist teachings of how to neutralize the polarities to activate the diamond mind. We all have a diamond mind within, and this is all part of physical ascension. If this love stream is inspiring right now, please share it. That's called gifting. There's a little share button down there somewhere. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so back to this week's online retreat. Again, this is for newbies. It's for rookies. It's for advanced beings, it's for beginners, because really there is no difference. And simultaneously, we really want all of we to understand that this 55-person retreat that starts tomorrow for 5 days, for 1 hour and 11 minutes a day, is about calling those of us in, those of we in, you know who you are. You know who you are. I am calling you in because you were waiting for this signal to come forward. In the caterpillars, the caterpillar turns to the butterfly. Less than 1% of the cells in the caterpillar have the codes to make the butterfly. They're called the imaginal cells. The imaginal cells begin to send the signals out. They send the codes out for all of the plasma inside of the cocoon, because the caterpillar turns to plasma as it's falling apart, just like our world is disintegrating as we've known it. That is to free up the energy. Now those who are the imaginal cells are sending out the signals that all the other cells have been waiting for, to reorganize, to reorient into the shape of the butterfly, the collective shape of the butterfly, which is the new consciousness and the new way that we live in relation with nature and everything and everyone in the cosmos. So this is really a moment when an imaginal cell is sending out the call to 55 of we to participate in this retreat that starts tomorrow, that has recordings available. All of our retreats are videos on, and that's part of what allows us to develop intimacy and not feel like we have to hide anymore. It's okay to be seen. So that's one thing to know. All the retreats are video on, and also, like we say, there's recordings available. So the way the guidance wrote the transmission for this online retreat, and I'll put all of the description in the description box after. It is such a profound transmission, just the description of the retreat, because what the guidance is saying is that why do we recycle around again and again inside of the same situations, the same creations? And that is because when we operate from the level of personality identification, when we operate from the level of thinking we are our personality, thinking we are our body, there is limitation to our capacity and our potential. And so as the consciousness wakes up, like we say, we're not saying diss the body or diss the personality or diss the ego. We're saying, let's shift our perception of awareness within our body, within our personality, within our ego, within our lives, within our creations. And as we shift our perception of who we are, we remember that we are pure potential. We are pure source consciousness. And so that is really the purpose of this online retreat, is to shift the awareness within us. Because when we shift our perspective of who we are back to pure source consciousness, we are no longer bound or locked by the limitation of the body, the personality, or the ego. One of the things the Hopi prophecy said, remember we shared that the prophecy was a set of instructions. So if this love stream is inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. As we say, the Hopi prophecy was a set of instructions that were given to the people to prepare for the end times and the time of purification. And that's what we've been in, which is why everything has been dismantling from within and all around us in our lives. And John Kimmey said that in his understanding from Grandfather David of the time of purification that was coming, we had a container in time. We had a period in time to follow the instructions to activate our diamond mind, which meant collapse the polarity within us. And past a certain point in time, we would pass the moment when we could do any more internal work in time to collapse those polarities. And from that moment forth, we would be fused to our karma. This is a very important piece, because in the fictional fiction, the game was created by certain beings to completely keep humanity ignorant of the time of purification, of this time of great transformation. So if people had known about this time, collectively had known about this time of great transfiguration for the last 100 years or 50 years or 20 years, humanity would have prepared. We would have been taught these things in school. We see a lot of cultures where you have, 1 million monks in Tibet all meditating together. Why? Because they were all preparing for the time of purification. They were in cultures and societies that did not block their awareness of what was coming. So a lot of humanity right now is fused to their karma. So a lot of people might be waking up energetically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and still find that they are still bound and locked in these recycling patterns. Not necessary. And that's what this online retreat is about this week. Like we say, it's for beginners, it's for newbies, it's for rookies, it's for advanced. It's for all of we to come into the energy of this transmission of pod consciousness together, and to receive every miracle day simple tools and techniques to shift our energy in an epiphany, which means, like we said, an epiphany is like learning to ride the bike. So this week there will be a lot of energetic epiphanies. And once an epiphany occurs, we are never the same again. We don't have to go back and use the training wheels again and again. Once we catch our balance, we're off to the races, so to speak. And so this miracle week is going to be for all of we who've been in the transmission before, who love it, who've maybe not been in the transmission for a while, who want to jump back in the transmission. This is the miraculous month and week of manifestation, because we are moving forth to another eclipse. We're in an eclipse container right now. We had a solar eclipse in Taurus on the last Saturday, the 30th of April. And we have a lunar eclipse coming on the 15th, 16th. And that is, this window is all about rising up. It's about things coming up from the underbelly of our awareness, the unconscious of our awareness, because it's connected to the Scorpio South Node of the collective consciousness. So this brings to the surface deep, dark, unconscious stuff that's still there to be cleared. And where can we clear it? There's only one place to clear it, and that's within the self, energetically, which is why we are offering energetic tools and techniques this week. Just clear it out and be done with it. From the hive mind to sovereign, what this is about, coming back to what we shared about people being bound to their karma, because we passed the window in time when we could come into our diamond mind. And as we say, the Western world was kept ignorant, was kept under lock and key, so to speak, to not have the awareness to prepare properly for the end times. So this retreat is saying, well, we prepared properly for the end times. We activated We's diamond mind. And because of that, we have the energy to open this container in such a way to the collective that the codes of human consciousness can be shared and transmitted. And it doesn't have to feel complicated or hard anymore. It doesn't have to feel difficult. It can be very, very simplistic, because enough beings on the planet have stabilized the energy of coherence. And we're seeing all these Schumann leaps. The heartbeat of the earth just keeps leaping and leaping and leaping. So from hive mind to sovereign is all about when we exist unconsciously at the level of our ego, meaning we don't know that we're identifying with our personality, our ego, or our body as though it is all that we are. Just like the metaphor we used about the muscle guy who leans on his car at the beach and thinks he's his car. So we're repeating a lot of these metaphors right now to get the feel of what we are offering and sharing. So bring your friends, bring your family. We're making this super available to all of we, because we want to see all of we show up. Those who are seeking, what is my purpose? What is my superpower? How do I fit in this change? I know there's a change. Maybe everything is dismantled in your life at this point, and you're just sitting there waiting for the signal. This is the signal from an imaginal cell to say that the new codes and coordinates are coming in with clarity and simplicity in such a way that cooperative components are aligning, meaning it no longer takes hard work for the miraculous to manifest, flow, and superabundance and joy and love and bliss and celebration and happiness in our lives. All of the wonderful things that we've come for. And this retreat will take all of we who participate with we this week, 5 days, 55 people, $55 from 2:22 to 3:33 p.m. We will hold this field in such a way that all who come into this transmission, aloha, Mr. Brandon, I have a transmission that's been coming through for you. So all who join the retreat this week will be placed in a relationship with their higher self in such a way that all the clarity emerges. And that's all people really seek, is just clarity of purpose and how do we fit in. And that's what's happening. So we're super excited and curious about this online retreat this week because it's completely new energy, and We Bliss has been guided to do many, many things with online retreats in many ways in the dismantling of human consciousness for years, so that we could come to this place of pure potential, of pure source consciousness and play. And so I'm really curious to see who's going to show up this week and who is curious to really tap into their purpose. The purpose that is now coming through all of we is a purpose of unity. And that is a collective consciousness. So it's different from the hive mind, where the ego operates consciously or unconsciously based on the energetics of the collective. This is why we come back to saying this is why it is difficult to break free, even when one has awareness and has trained for years and done lots of studying and all of these things on their own personal inner evolution. People may still find it's difficult to break away, and they might be asking, why do I keep recycling in the same old same? That's because at the level of ego identification, we are bound to the hive mind. The guidance showed the other day as this massive hive of billions of bees was removed from the cottage at the back by some beekeepers. Billions. The bees were with we all winter. They moved in days after we moved into this lovely sanctuary, and we's good friends just got taken away. So we were still in communication. But one of the things the guidance said is that people say bees are hive mind. The guidance is like, no, they're not. Hive mind is what people live in inside of the matrix. That's hive mind. Bees live in unity consciousness. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is like such an incredible description of bees. And it transforms everything that we think about bees, because nature works in tandem. So there's this beautiful little green bird that sat in Wee's garden every day, sunrise to sunset, singing its little song like every 30 seconds. And it came in maybe a few miracle months after the bees through the winter. And a little bird, there it is. It's been gone away for days since the bees left, even though the little green bird sits in the front garden from sun up till sundown, and the bees were in a cottage out back. They were collaborating in a field of unity consciousness. So when the little green bird left, we were like, oh my gosh, the bees left, the green bird left. The green bird stopped singing. So we say the bees are coming back. Anyways, so the hive mind thing at the level of the ego for human potential is the thing that energetically creates an inertia that keeps pulling people back from accelerating, from succeeding, from breaking free into our true sovereignty. Our true sovereignty is connected into the field of unity consciousness. And sovereignty is where we begin to download direct from source our prime purpose. Just like the cells in a human body. If you're a liver cell, you're a liver cell. If you're a kidney cell, you're a kidney cell. So this whole transfiguration in human consciousness is about breaking through, breaking away from the inertia of the hive mind energy that only exists at the level of over-identification with the ego, meaning there's little hummingbirds flying all over, meaning we over-identify with our ego. When we over-identify with our ego, our blueprint, our personality, we can be manipulated by it. And the ego is influenced by fear. So as we hold coherence, we transcend fear. The bondage of the ego, the bondage of the personality begins to fall off. It dissolves away. Then we can be in our physical body, we can be in our personality, we can be in our ego, just like we can still be in our car. It's just we don't think we are our car anymore, and there's tremendous freedom then inside of that car. And we begin to unlock our supernatural capacities. It all begins to unlock, and we step fully into the miraculous. So this is going to be a miracle week of stepping into the miraculous. 55 people, 5 days, $55 exchange. And we will put all the notes in the description box. And we have another love stream we're going to do about a dispatio that's coming up with our THRU elders in the fiction of a country called Peru, because of course the THRU are not connected to the Peru, they're connected to Pachamama. And so we're going to share about that in another love stream. Yeah, we're going to stay with this online retreat in this love stream, and then we'll share about the dispatio in another love stream. Okay, so if you're curious, if you're seeking your purpose, if you're a newbie or a rookie and you're just looking for stability inside of yourself, to step out of what might feel like chaos, because when things get dismantled, it can feel very chaotic until we find our center, because everything is new. Again and again, we're going through this great transformation, and so it's all new, and we didn't get taught in school how to prepare necessarily. Maybe you did. Mine has all come from my higher guidance. And so this container this week is going to be so deliciously supportive, nourishing, nurturing for those who show up. It's like step out of the fray and come and join me and experience the bliss. Experience the peace within. And not only that, begin to make contact with the sovereign self beyond the hive mind. Make contact with the wholeness of the self. And then just watch and witness step by meticulous step how the instructions come in to guide each one of us to reorient ourselves, to shift our perception, and to support us now to step fully into the superabundance. Superabundance is stepping into that part within ourselves that is connected into unity consciousness. When we are fully connected in to that part within, all the collaborative components show up. It's miraculous. And the cool thing about it is that nothing comes too slow or too fast. It all comes perfectly in alignment. So we're learning to come into that flow. Know your purpose, express your power, step into your flow. Those were the original words when we Bliss many miracle decades ago first stepped in to supporting and assisting each other at the level of the miraculous. That is the coolest thing about unity consciousness. It doesn't come in too fast or too slow. Everything comes in with perfection to the point where our cheekbones are all super lit. because the smiles are continuous, and we remember how simple it is, because now we've restored our alignment to nature itself. Nature holds a balance for everything inside of it, and it is the most divine and delicious flow. So we thank we. If this love stream is inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. One more miracle we will say. We're doing a retreat this week. 5 days, 55 people, $55. And from Monday to Friday, starting tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific, goes till 3:33 each day. And there is a recording. We will send out the recordings. When you come to one of we's retreats, it's videos on for everyone, because it is about transparency. It is about intimacy. It is about overcoming our fear of being seen. Everyone is stepping into their superabundance. Everyone is being activated into their personal, high-hearted leadership within themselves. And anything that is not in alignment with unity consciousness that might be coming through cannot tread where unity is. So anything that is devastating or destructive, that is aggressive or manipulative, anything that is dark, cannot come where unity is. And that is what the purpose of the transmission is, to assist us in a container that uplifts us out of that inertia we call darkness. That's really all darkness is inertia that we have been clearing through the bloodlines, clearing for aeons through the bloodlines and lineages to uplift us from the ancestral wounding and apocryphal darkness. So this retreat launches each of we with tools and techniques in each one of our toolboxes. So once we have tools that we can bring in that we know work consistently, and these are all tools that we Bliss learned decades ago that shifted we's life into the miraculous. We just shared one of the tools yesterday, Miracle Day, with a friend, and she had the same response everyone who ever does it does. She opened her eyes after doing it. She was like, oh my gosh. She's like, wow, I felt that. I feel different. I'm like, yep. So that's what this is. So please share with your friends and family. If you have been wanting them to come in to a more stable state of consciousness, you've been wanting to invite them into the transformation that has been happening within yourself, and maybe you haven't had the languaging or the articulation, invite them in. Let's be curious and see who shows up. I'm super curious and I'm super excited. I can feel the energy coming through. We are rebirthing the child from within each one of us. And as we open that high heart, life returns to the way we all know it's meant to be. Life is restored to the miraculous. We love we so much. Thank we for tuning in. If this love stream is inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. I'll put links in the comments box to join the online retreat. I'll also put links in the description box. Please share this out through your networks because it starts tomorrow. Miracle. Please be curious. I invite you to be curious. I inspire you to show up for yourself. This retreat will be miraculous. Aloha.